The small town of Havenwood lay shrouded in a dense, silent fog, a place where time seemed to slow. The only sound cutting through the thick, damp air was the low, persistent hum of overhead power lines, a lonely thrum in the pre-dawn quiet. A single car cut through the mist, its headlights carving a path to the edge of town, finally stopping before the skeletal remains of Station 103.7. The building, a relic from another era, had been boarded up and left to decay since 1997, its broadcast silence for decades. Elena Cruz, a freelance journalist with a penchant for forgotten stories, stepped out of her car, her breath misting in the cold. She hefted her recording gear, her purpose clear: to investigate the local legend known as the Night of the Lost Broadcast and capture its chilling tale for her podcast. The old wooden door groaned in protest as she pushed it open, stepping into the darkness that had held the station captive for over 20 years. Inside, the air was thick with the smell of dust and decay. Elena's flashlight beam danced across the forgotten interior, revealing peeling paint, overturned chairs, and a thick layer of grime covering everything. It was a tomb of forgotten sound. Her light eventually settled on a metal rack in the corner of the main studio, where a collection of reel-to-reel tapes sat, miraculously preserved. One box, set apart from the others, bore a stark, handwritten warning: "Night shift, do not play." A thrill of discovery, mixed with a creeping sense of unease, ran through her. This was what she had come for. With practiced hands, she threaded the fragile tape onto an old player and pressed the button. A hiss of static filled the room, followed by a distorted, guttural whisper that seemed to crawl directly into her ear. "If you hear this, you're already part of the show." As the last word faded, a sudden jolt of electricity surged through the control board. With a crackle and a hum, the station's old radio console flickered to life, broadcasting the only sound in the room: the amplified, rhythmic sound of her own breathing. Panic began to set in. Elena scrambled for the exit, but the heavy wooden door was now sealed shut, refusing to budge no matter how hard she pushed. Her heart hammered against her ribs as her gaze fell upon a clock on the wall, its hands frozen at 2:37 a.m., the exact time the station had supposedly gone off the air forever. Desperate for an explanation, she rummaged through the debris-strewn dusk and uncovered a faded leather-bound journal. It belonged to Rick Halden, the station's last DJ. His frantic scrawls detailed nights filled with strange transmissions, voices that weren't his own bleeding through the airwaves. As she read his last terrifying entry, disembodied whispers began to echo from the shadows around her, slithering through the studio. "She's here now, record her," a voice hissed. Another joined in, a chorus of phantoms. The broadcast must continue. A horrifying realization dawned on Elena as she stared at the on-air light, glowing a malevolent red above the recording booth. She wasn't just investigating a story. She was the story. The entire time she had been in the station, her every gasp, every frantic footstep, had been broadcast live to an unseen audience. Her eyes darted to the soundproof glass of the recording booth, and her blood ran cold. A shadowy figure stood inside, its form coalescing from the darkness. It was Rick Halden, the long-dead DJ, a ghastly, unnerving smile stretching across his spectral face. His voice, smooth and sinister, crackled through the intercom, no longer a whisper but a clear, commanding tone. "Every broadcast needs a voice. Yours is perfect." Elena stared at her own reflection in the booth's glass, watching in terror as her features began to warp. Her eyes bled into pools of inky blackness, and when she opened her mouth to scream, the sound that emerged was a distorted, inhuman static. Days later, a strange phenomenon occurred in Havenwood. The dormant airwaves crackled back to life. A new sign, glowing an ominous, bloody red, illuminated the facade of the old station: "On AIR forever." From car radios and home stereos, a smooth, enchanting female voice filled the night. Good evening, listeners. This is Elena Cruz, and you're tuned into station 103.7. The broadcast continued, a seamless, endless loop of music and phantom chatter, with Elena's voice as its eternal host. The final sound before the signal was lost was a sharp digital glitch, followed by an abrupt and total silence.